Jazakallah khair. Now, I know you're all so looking forward to this session, very important session on the Palestinian occupation. Inshallah, we're going to have a really esteemed panel that we wish to welcome up in a minute. We have many guests today to speak to you about this topic. We have Brother Sami Hamdi, Brother Khalid Bahijri, Brother Hussam Ailoush, Brother Oussama Jammal, and Sheikh Othman Racha, all tonight for you to explain this. Inshallah, we'll be hearing from all of them. I'll be calling up the moderator, inshallah. I do wish to give my question ahead of time. I know all of us need to feel confident in the situation so that not only we know how to answer questions, to know the situation deeper, so that we can, of course, feel like we are a part of this, inshallah. But my question is also for the youth. This is very difficult for them to process, to see. No matter as parents, we try to shield them. They will see these images. My 6-year-old knows what's going on, but of course his concern is, Mama, when can we eat cake pops again from Starbucks? But inshallah, of course, it's way more complex than this. So I'd like to welcome our MC for tonight, mashallah, Dr. Ahmed Azam. He is the senior professor at DeVry University teaching cybersecurity. He's also professor at Cal Poly Pomona teaching computer information systems. He is a Mass National Board trustee member as well as National Board of Director for Islamic Relief. He is a senior of many dawah organizations in Southern California, dedicating his life to serving Muslims in America. Let us please welcome tonight's MC, Dr. Ahmed Azam, and all of our speakers to the stage.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. MashaAllah, you look so beautiful again, wallah, from here, because when you're seeing the Muslims gathering in this occasion, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. Now the occupation of Palestine, very important topic in very good time, and Palestine holds deep religious importance in Islam, in our hearts, and what's happening today in Gaza, what's happening today in Palestine, does definitely we need all of us to sit and think, and also to listen to the scholars who can give us guidance, who can help us, inshallah, to understand before, during, and after this crisis, what the expectation from all of us, what is the normalizations, what about the individuals, families, and also the community at large. Definitely this is a very important topic, and I don't want to take much of your time in the introduction, but definitely it's very critical for each one of us to be involved, especially when it comes to the justice, when it comes to something important as what's going on today in Gaza and what's happening to the people, where more than probably 14 or 15,000 being killed in Gaza. We have 4 speakers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. I'm going to start, I'll introduce them one by one. So we start with Brother Oussama Jammal, my dear beloved brother and friend, and he will talk to us about the normalization between countries, political issues, التطبيع السياسي, and dealing and explain, also define and explain the political normalization and its implication. I had the pleasure and the honor to go with Brother Oussama Jammal with the delegates, Muslims from the United States, to visit Turkey and meet the president, just sharing what the Muslims, how the Muslims, can help and contribute to every good cause, alhamdulillah. He is currently the Secretary General of the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, USCMO, an umbrella organization of national, regional, and local Muslim organization. Brother Oussama Jammal served in different capacity, including president and chairman of the board of the Mosque Foundation, Bridgeview in Chicago area in Illinois, and State Department and Department's Interfaith Subcommittee on International Religious Freedom, Interfaith Advisory Board of the Department of Homeland Security, and just to make it very short, he is the National Director of Mass Space, the Public Affairs and Civic Engagement Division of the Muslim American Society, Mass. Without further ado, I welcome Brother Oussama Jammal to the podium.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Since time is short and the subject is very dense, I have to go to the heart of it quickly. About normalization between Israel and the Arab, and by extension, the Muslim community, the Muslim world. But I would like to give a preliminary introduction to the history, because that's important. That tells us why reject, why we do not want to do, at least at this time, normalization. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ in Medina, and before the expansion outside Medina, outside the Arabian Peninsula, the Byzantine Empire was in control of Bilad Sham, including the Holy Land, Palestine. At that time, Jews were in that country. They were not treated well, but they were there. But under the rule of the Byzantines, and of course, Christianity was there. Until Muslims came to Palestine and to Jerusalem with the Fatih, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu. That's the time when we liberated Jews from the Byzantine Empire. Even Christians, Arabs, been liberated from the Byzantine Empire, who discriminated against Arab Christians at the time. Ever since Muslims had their time and had their rule, Jews enjoyed peace and security, prosperity. They were able to enjoy and exercise their religious rituals. All that continued until the Crusaders had their eyes on the Holy Land. With multiple expeditions to the Holy Land, they captured Jerusalem. And they killed Jews and Muslims alike. And we all read in the history that the blood was to the knees of the horses. That's how much the West ever since was vicious, barbaric in invading other countries and other nations. For 88 years, the Crusaders ruled in Jerusalem until Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi was able to liberate Jerusalem again and liberate the Jews again, and had them live in peace and security under the Muslims for the second time. All the way until 1917, when the British entered into Palestine and had their mandate. And after World War I, they start giving the promise, the Balfour Promise, to give the Jews a state. Although what it was not originally for Palestine, but eventually the Zionist movement convinced to have the state of Israel over in Palestine. When they came to Palestine, brothers and sisters, and that's important for all of you, they did not come with olive branches on their hands. They came with rifles and bombs, established kibbutz, settlements, and they drove Palestinians out of their homes. When the Jews were living in peace and security, neighbors to Muslims and the Palestinians, they were only about 6% of the population, but they were treated well. They enjoyed their life over there. But under the guns and the terrorist activities of three major terrorist organizations, one of them, Menachem Begin, was the head of that organization. Ishaq Shamir was a head of another organization. And many of those who assumed the primary prime ministers of Israel were all terrorists, designated until today's in the archives of France and the UK. This is reminded us by President Jimmy Carter on Larry King Live, those who may remember. He said, I told Menachem Begin that you should stop terrorist activities in order for the US to acknowledge the state of Israel. That's how they came to Palestine. Terrorist activities, massacres, just like we saw in these last 47 days. Kafr Qasim, Dir Yassin, Ain Karim, and many, many villages of the Palestinian people. By terror, by killing, by massacres, they drove them out and replaced them with waves of Jews coming from Europe. In 1948, they were able to, through the United Nations, to be recognized with a state that refused by the Arab countries at the time. Wars continue. Rejection of the Israeli continued. Israel was planning, constructing, deepening its presence in Palestine while Arabs were fighting each other, promising the people that they will liberate, when in fact they were also strengthening their grip on their people and in their country. In 1973, when Egypt had the war with Israel and they captured Sinai, of course, I passed 1967, the war, when they captured Jerusalem and they captured the Golan Heights and Sinai. In 1973, Egypt had to go through a war with Israel, and they were able to liberate somehow Sinai. They still don't have a full sovereignty over their own land by installing early warning apparatus in Sinai to make sure that Egyptians do not do any other attack over Israel. So practically, they do not have control over their own country. And we have seen this in Rafah. Egypt could not even control Rafah crossing, and that's theirs. They were promised, if you do normalization, that you will prosper, because as long as you want to have fight with Israel, your economy, your situation is going to be terrible. Sadat accepted. Delusions. Until today, we know that Egypt is not better at any time, probably worse than what it was back in 1973. The normalization gave recognition of Israel that it can do business with another country, culturally, politically, economically, most important. They will gain more than the other countries will gain. And it went on until 1994, when Jordan was convinced to have a normalization pact, upon which they gave what they called Wadi Araba, the Jordanian water to Israel. And unfortunately, the situation continued to be bad. Israel continued to do settlement, despite all the objection, including our own government, our own Congress, who declared that settlement will be illegal. But they never did anything serious about stopping the settlements. And that continued to convince everybody else that it is the Palestinians who do not want to make peace. Well, you can't claim that you are for two-state solutions when you continue to grab and have more settlements. That is not an indication of someone is interested to have a peace and to have a two-state solution. 15 years ago, Rand Corporation was contracted by our government to do a study on how this two-state solution will look like and how the Palestinian state will look like. It was a Swiss cheese, non-contiguous territory that Palestinians could live truly, peacefully, easily between their cities and between their towns. And they admitted that that is a big problem. In 2000, Arab countries offered Israel land for peace as a way to settle this issue. They never accepted. They kept continue to blame the Palestinians. Every time they put them after Oslo, and remember this, when Yitzhak Rabin was close and he admitted that we have shed a lot of Palestinian blood and it is about time to stop, Israelis assassinated him. Yasser Arafat, though Palestinians did not want to do this, normalizations and accept what the Israelis are offering because they are not offering anything, they did not assassinate him. Who is really does not want to have peace and do not want to have a settlement? And the settlement continued. The settlement continued, and Israel always hoped that there will be an internal fight between Hamas and Fatah and al-Sulta. They always bet on this result because they drag their feet. They are not interested in offering truly a two-state solution. Normalizations continued after Jordan with the time of Trump with the Abrahamic Accord, where UAE, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, they made normalization pact with Israel. That was dangerous because there was nothing in return. Where is the land for peace deal? They have not given the Palestinian anything. That's why we reject any normalization, because it does not give Palestinians their right to their country, to their land, and to their future. These countries, they thought by doing so, they don't care about the Palestinians, they will gain more. They promised Morocco, we will resolve your issues with Algeria and will give you the Western Sahara. They go to every country, whatever problem they have, they promise them, because they control Washington. They tell them, why do you want to go to Washington? You just come to us and we can get you everything. And that's another delusion on the Arabs and other Muslim countries. They think that Israel can give them what they want. Yes, we know they have a lobby, a strong lobby. AIPAC, every presidential candidate in America has to pledge their allegiance to Israel before they get running and they get elected in this country. And the Arabs believe them. And that's why they go to them in order to make normalization. And the danger of normalization, not only it takes away the right of the Palestinians in their land, in their homes, but Israel is a big hindrance to democratization in the Muslim and the Arab world. We have seen this in the Arab Spring. I can remind everybody, Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel, was on CNN when the coup was in its first days. Israeli lobby were day and night on the doors of the State Department, the White House, the Pentagon, and the Egyptian embassy. They went into a marketing campaign to sell Sisi and the coup, that this is good. Ehud Barak said it on CNN. Give this man a chance, talking about Abdel Fattah al-Sisi when he did his coup against the only time Egypt has enjoyed true elections and true democracy. Barack Obama was prevented even from recognizing this was a coup, so that they do not stop the $1.3 billion in military assistance. It's not even going to the Egyptian people, just to keep the military silent. That's the danger of normalization, because there will be no democracy in the Arab world. That's why we fight it. It is to invade our cultures, our values. It is to change, to become people who are against the Palestinians and their rightful struggle for self-determination. But they're wrong. They're wrong. Maybe they had their bet on the Arab leaders. They always forget the Arab people. We may sleep, we never die. We may take a nap, we will never die. We will always rise. Gaza rose. Gaza gave an unimaginable lessons to the entire world, especially our people. Gaza is truly Izzah. Gaza is truly a symbol and a lesson of pride and perseverance. They can bomb them. They can put a siege on them. They can make them starve. But their hearts and their pride will never be touched. Lessons for thousands of years down the road. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiqh, Brother Oussama Jammal, for the great speech. And definitely for each one of us here, I don't want you just to listen. I want you to have action items. I want you to learn the history of Palestine and to understand what we should do next in order to move forward with full of knowledge. And also, inshallah, together with the unity, we can make a big difference, inshallah, here in the United States. If there is one question I want to ask all of you, I want you to hear it from me. It will be, Ya Ahla Gaza, where is the secret between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You united the Muslim Ummah. You exposed the people who was really in the other side. And I said, Ya Ahl Gaza, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you victory. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide the world to look for the justice and support Gaza. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be among those who stand in the right side of the history as we are seeing what's happening in Gaza today. I want you to remember, my brothers and sisters, that we are all connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ. And you are among those, inshallah, hum al-a'lawn. We have hope, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the Battle of Badr, when the people think this is definitely, unfair game, that you are facing so many from the other side, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He gives the victory, He gives the victory. So again, inshallah, for the next few minutes, we're going to have the Q&A, question and answers, inshallah. So if you have any question, you have the number there. You can, inshallah, text me the question.
Well, I'm not going to be here on Saturday, so I'm going to take my time and respond it now. Yes, all politics are local. All politics are local. Brother Hussam mentioned something really, really important. If you are not engaged, you are not in the minds of your representative, and things would be done without you. It is very important that you register to vote and you vote. and have a town hall meeting where you invite everybody on the list. Many times we vote for 1 and 2, and when we go to the polling station, the rest of them we don't know. We just give them yes, 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 yes. They don't know we voted for them, yet they were elected because of us, and we have gotten nothing. We gotta be smart and informed voters to begin with. You need to register to vote. And this crisis really magnified the importance of how you engage with your members of Congress and your state representatives. You know, there's the US representative and there's the state representative. During this crisis, we sent almost 6,000 plus letters to every elected official in the United States of America. From Congress, about 530, to all the other states and their local representative, asking for ceasefire and asking for aid to Gaza. Many responded. Some, they said, yes, we are, and we actually have a bill in the assembly to support the ceasefire. Others, they were very nasty, and they sent us even the F word. So we are going to send them now a letter. We said, we had a ceasefire, and Gaza is going to get aid despite your nose. So inshallah, we will send them letters and responding to them. We may not be able to have impact on the general, elections as how many we are. Yeah, we are only 1% of the U.S. population. However, we have to be smart and look for the swing states. I love what Minnesota did. Minnesota, they made a press conference and they said, we are abandoning Biden, and not only that, we are going to campaign against him. That sent a huge message to the White House, and really CNN picked it up, and that made a huge change in the minds of the administration. And I think there will be similar ones in the swing states to send message that, yes, we are probably small in numbers, but we're going to be in the swing states very active people who are going to truly make the change, because we love it when it is neck and neck in the race. This is good for us because now we can make a difference in those states. So I ask you, first of all, take care of your local. Register to vote and elect your mayor, your state representative, your board of education, your board of all the different positions that you will have. You have to. Otherwise, if you are, as they say, if you are not,
طيب شيخ أسامة.
if you are not on the table, you're going to be in the menu.
جزاك الله خيرا، بارك الله فيك.